Okay. Um, this video, I'm going to cover briefly in, in a very elementary way weight loss, fat loss, more specifically. When people say they want to lose weight, I don't think that they truly understand that you don't just want to lose overall mass. I don't want to lose that, or I don't want to lose muscle. When you start dieting, when you start your fat loss regimen, that's what you're after is you want to oxidize body fat. But no matter what you do, and you see it all the time, you see anything from keto to Jenny Craig to intermittent fasting to a bro diet where it's bodybuilding foods, chicken and rice and all this kind of stuff. And there's such a wealth of information out there. I would even go so far as to say that it's a wealth of misinformation. In other words, people just flat out don't know what the fuck to do. They don't understand that, everything, all roads lead to Rome, so to speak. But what I like to do with people, what I like to do with my clients, I guess that you would call them, is I like to do things incrementally. Now, what do I mean by that? But remember, in the beginning of the video, I said the idea is fat loss. Well, when you start losing weight, what's considered overall weight, generally, no matter what approach you take, no matter what vehicle you use to start you down the path of weight loss, to weigh less than you do now, you can expect to drop water weight, and with that, what's called glycogen stores. Now, I don't want to get too sciencey, but understand that when you eat carbohydrates, more specifically, it goes into the stomach, it's broken down, it's more or less micronized. It goes into the bloodstream, and it's eventually taken to the liver, some of it. You will get an insulinic response, meaning that when you eat a carbohydrate, you eat carbs, your pancreas senses the carbohydrate or the glucose at this point in your blood, and your pancreas will secrete insulin. The insulin goes into your blood, ideally, finds the glucose molecules, attaches to them, and shuttles them to various different places where they need to go. So this is energy coming in. This is an influx of energy. Depending on how much you need it at that point, shit on my keyboard, or how little you didn't need, is going to greatly depend. It's going to dictate where that stuff goes. Ideally, we want it to go to three places. And the liver we can't help. Some of it is inevitably going to find its way to the liver to be shuttled out later. It's kind of, the primary fuel tank, if you will. The others, the other glucose is allocated to either your muscle cells where we'd like to have it, or it can go to fat. Some of it goes to your brain. But if you eat too much and you flood your system, after a while, it starts getting stored as fat. And we know this. It's kind of the way it is. So I don't want to get too sciencey. But when you start losing weight, you start losing water and glycogen. Glycogen is when the glucose swimming around in your bloodstream is via insulin taken to the muscle cell and stored in the form of glycogen. And then when you exercise or you move or you do whatever, that's converted into ATP, and that doesn't matter. So 10, 15, sometimes even 20 pounds, people can experience, they can lose that. They can experience that loss and lose weight. They'll lose weight, But oftentimes that's about the point where they quit. They just quit. And why do they quit? They quit because they didn't have sustainability. They didn't do it incrementally. So the best approach is this: one thing at a time. You hear about reducing calories, intermittent fasting, ketogenic dieting, bro foods. Think of it chronologically. In other words, when you start, the number one thing that you should do is recognize just straight up junk shit you don't need. Pop, soda, none of us need that. It serves no fucking purpose. To kick that habit, because it's an addiction, try diet. I know I'm going to get hate. Oh, well, diet pop. It's just as blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, okay, but incrementally, okay? Start with that. If you're eating donuts every morning, knock that shit out. Leave the coffee, fine. You don't need, there's just obvious foods in your life that the junk, you don't need. It doesn't do anything for you. That's step number one. And that in of itself, just quitting pop, for example, you'll lose weight and you'll feel a hell of a lot better. Two, to get a little more advanced, you find out your total daily energy expenditure, your TDEE. You can go to Google and you can type this in, find out what your maintenance calories are. They have these calculators. It's very easy, very self-explanatory. Find out what your total energy expenditure is per day. In other words, if you were just sitting on your ass or according to whatever activity level, this is how many calories you would need or what you burn. Just doing what you're doing. So once you find that out, let's say that it's for me, let's just say for shits and giggles, that's, I think last time I punched it in, it was like 4,000 calories. If I ate 4,000 calories a day, I wouldn't gain weight. I wouldn't lose weight. I just maintain. That's maintenance level. I dropped that by 500. A lot of people say, well, why not do 1,000? Get there quicker. Okay, well, you cut too deep, too quick, too soon, you're going to have issues. I promise. No need to do that. 500. When the weight loss stops, 1,000. So on and so forth. That's the second step. Then down the road, we can start looking into more advanced protocols. Intermittent fasting is a great tool, for example. It's not a diet, it's how you eat whatever diet is that you're eating. It's a timing protocol and one backed with a lot of science, and I'll talk about that at another point. But I've been doing it, and it works very well. Then you have a ketogenic diet. The keto is hyped a lot. Keto is something that I believe a person can use acutely to get them further down in fat loss. I don't know that it's something you have to do for life, because then if you wanted to bodybuild and build more muscle, keto's not the best for that. That's debatable. It's arguable, but trust me, from my experience in the industry, it's not the best for muscle loss. Fat loss, all day long. And then down the road, once you get your body fat where you want it to be, you can build more muscle more efficiently, because body fat secretes a lot of nasty hormones that prevent your muscles from uptaking nutrients, which is what you need for protein synthesis and all this shit. Again, science alert, sciencey, nerd alert. But that's pretty much the whole premise. Incremental steps. Okay? We'll talk more about it.